Let's talk about how to get professional enterprise-grade phone and email solutions in 3 easy steps. And best of all for less than $20 a month. So if that interests you, be sure you stay tuned. Now, I think most business owners who are first starting off, myself included, completely skip getting a phone and email service set up, even though it can be critical to your brand's image and make you look a lot more professional. Instead, most folks opt into using their personal number, which means clients can call you day or night and you're never not working in their eyes. Now that's exactly what I ran into when I was first starting. I was actually taking sales calls on my personal phone and I quickly learned that that was a mistake. People would then call me with questions. Even it was pretty much like I was doing free consulting calls at 8 p.m. in the evening, 9 o'clock, they would call me, they would leave me text in the early morning, whatever it was. And so I quickly learned that that was a mistake. Even going in the beginning as far as using a basic Gmail account, which makes it look like you're running your business out of your basement. Now, it sounds good and inspirational when you're a billion-dollar company and you say you started off in someone's basement, but it isn't necessarily an image that I want to put in my customers' minds when I'm just trying to get my business off the ground. Now, the 3 steps I'm about to break down next will help you avoid these mistakes and position you to be able to scale as your business grows. Now, you'll see that every service that I mentioned is with that in mind, making sure that I can easily add more emails or phone lines to my business as it continues to get bigger. So the first step that we're going to do is actually setting up a domain name. Now, I recommend you follow along on your computer, but what you're going to do next is you're going to click the link down in the description called Namecheap. Now, I've used this company Namecheap for years. They make it extremely simple to buy your domains, but more importantly, they make it extremely simple for me to be able to link my domain to services as I need to. Now, these are going to be services such as email services, which we're going to do here in a little bit, website hosting, link redirection services, and so much more. So now let's go to jump into my computer as I show you how to actually go about getting yourself a domain.
All right, so let's actually jump into getting a Namecheap domain. So what you want to do here is you basically want to type whatever domain that you want. Now, these domains are usually going to be around $10 to $12 is what I found. And you can pretty much, type in any type of domain names that you want. The great thing about it is you can always change domains if you want to down the line. Okay, so if there's one that you have on your mind now, but you're not sure about it, you can choose it and then later on just choose another one down the road. Okay, so let's say I was doing like a cleaning company or something, right? I would do TommyCleaning.com. I'll hit search to see if it's available. Boom, so it's available. TommyCleaning.com is available for $8.98 per year. Okay, so all I would do is hit add to cart, and boom, that's pretty much what you would do in this case. So you can buy that domain. It comes with domain privacy. Basically what this is to make sure that no one can see your name if they do like a search on domains. Pretty much you can publicly search all domains, but it depends what actually shows up in terms of who's the owner of the domain. It depends on if you have the domain privacy. If you have domain privacy, your information won't show up on there, like your name, your phone number, your email, all that. It's going to show the information of Namecheap, or it's going to show some other entity that they have. That way it kind of protects you from people just, trying to bombard you with emails, trying to either say, oh, I want to buy your domain or whatever, right? Kind of adds an extra layer of protection. Anyways, you don't really need to change anything here. You can change the year if you want to, have the domain for longer. Typically, I recommend you either, if you're not sure about the domain, just sign up for a year. If this is you already started a business and you just haven't had the time to get the domain, then you can choose anything else, right? You can add 5 years if you're comfortable with that, 10 years, up to 10 years if you're comfortable with that. But just know the price is going to change based off of how many years that you use it, okay? Now, I do recommend that you hit this auto renew just in case. You can always come back in and, cancel out the auto renew if you don't plan on using the domain anymore. But this just makes sure that, you don't accidentally miss the deadline to pay for the domain. And then eventually, I think they give you like 30 days or 45 days, then it's out available to the public. So someone else can pick up that domain and pretty much, if they own the domain now, you'll have to try to buy it from that person. So I typically recommend you always click the auto renew. Then it'll bring you to this screen. Now, I'm not going to walk you through the rest of it, but the gist of it is this. What you're going to do is you're going to come here and choose, create a domain. Unless you already have one, you can log in. But if you don't, then you can create a login here. Just follow these steps. Then it's going to ask you to, type in your billing information. Once you do that, you're pretty much going to be able to complete your order and have access to the domain immediately. Okay. So this, like I told you, this process is really simple. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to talk to you about the next step, and then we're going to jump back into Namecheap here in a little bit to kind of show you how that process would work. Alrighty, once you've actually made it through the entire purchase process, so it should have been about 2 more screens. You put in your billing, you create an account, put in your billing information, and then boom, you should be able to get a screen that looks like this once you click to manage your domain. Now, here, we're going to leave this like this for now. We're going to head over to the next step, and then we're going to come back here in a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the next step, and then I'll show you what we got to do next.
So now that you have your domain, let's move on to step number 2. Now what you're going to need to do is get an email from G Suite. Now, if you want to support the channel, you can go ahead and click the links down below. I've partnered with these companies that I am personally using for my own business at no additional cost to you. Now, I also want to say, don't listen to folks who are going to recommend that you do all these different workarounds so you can try and get a free email service. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've heard it all, right? It's always way too complicated and pretty much leads you to not being able to scale your email addresses and just gives you a ton of headaches. The way I look at it, guys, these G Suite email addresses are literally $6 a month. And on top of that, they give you access to even more features than just an email. You're going to be able to have access to your Google Drive, Google Meets, which is pretty much like Zoom, but better in my eyes. The benefit of Google Meets is I'm able to send a link to someone and they can open it to hop into a meeting from any device, no installation necessary. Now, on top of that, there's also a calendar that you can use just for your business and so much more. So to me, I think it's a no-brainer to just spend the $6 on your business, invest into your business with an actual G Suite account that looks a lot more professional. What this G Suite account is going to allow you to do is, with the domain that we just purchased, you are now going to be able to use the G Suite to make sure that you have a branded email account. Now, a branded email account just means that instead of you having an email like Tomy@gmail.com, you have an email that says something like support@tommyboboy.com, for example. That last part, the tommyboboy.com that shows, is a branded email. I like to look at it like this. How would you feel if you needed to send an email to Apple and it was apple@gmail.com, right? It doesn't look as professional with them having gmail.com instead of their own brand at the end. So now let's go ahead and jump into my laptop again so I can show you guys exactly how to go about setting this up.
All right, so now we're going to go about actually setting up our email, okay? So this is Google Workplace, formerly known as G Suite. So if you ever hear me say G Suite, it's kind of interchangeable. They recently changed their name to Google Workspace, okay? So this is going to kind of show you everything you get. Obviously, you're going to get the email, their Gmail, Drive, Meet, Calendar, Chat, and all the little Google Doc, Google Sheet, each of those individual ones. And these are kind of the price points for it. Now, it kind of depends on, exactly how you're going to be using your Google Workspace. But for most people, this is probably going to work out just fine for them, the $6 plan. If you plan on, or you need a lot of space and you plan on having, meetings where there's going to be a lot of people there, or you just want to record meetings, you'll want to go with the business standard, okay? But again, this goes as low as $6, so you can be just fine right here, okay? So what I'll do is I'll click with this and kind of walk you guys through exactly what it'll look like. It's going to ask you your business name. Again, all this information that you type in here is pretty changeable. Let's see here. Tommy's Cleaning Co. But it's just me. This kind of gives them an idea how many emails you're going to be trying to create. So you can put just you, and you can always add emails later on. You can delete emails later on. Okay. Now you're going to put your name. Okay. See, now it's asking us, do we have a domain? We already purchased one from Namecheap. I like using Namecheap because I like to have all my domains in one place. And Namecheap has been, extremely easy for me to use, and it's been compatible with a lot of other software tools and things like that I've used. Okay, so we'll hit yes, I do. Domain was tommycleaning.com. Alrighty, so it's asking you, do you want your domain to set up with this account? Answer is yes. I usually opt out of this, because they're going to send you, it's pretty much like marketing, it's sort of marketing emails. They're going to send you stuff about features and new things that they're releasing. Here you can make a You can choose to have a email. So I'll make it Tomy or head admin. Let's do head admin. Put any password here that you like. Okay, hit agree and continue. Alrighty, so this is what it looks like here. Now, check under the description in this video. There might be a promotion code, just depending on whenever you're looking at this video. I'll try to constantly upgrade and add any promo codes that Google gives to me. I'll relay that information over to you guys. If you see one under in the description, I recommend trying it here to see if it's still active. And then you can hit next. Typically, it'll be like, they might give you like 20% off or something. Again, these things are already pretty cheap, but hey, if you can save a little extra money just by typing in a couple letters, then it's well worth it, right? Alrighty. Next, they're going to want you just to review it and check out. This is where you're going to have to type in your little bit of your information. Basically, you're going to type in your address and you're going to type in your billing information. Once you do that, make sure you hit agree and continue, and I'll see you at the next page. All right, so we're almost there. Now we've entered our billing information, so we've started our free trial. Next, what you'll want to do is hit continue to set up. It's actually going to walk you through how to link your domain to your Google Workspace. Because if you don't link the domain, then you technically can't send out emails with your actual branding at the end, right? So in my case, TommyCleaning.com. Okay, they're going to have me do all this extra stuff. Move my face. This is where you can add other users. This is where you can add. So basically, you can make it to where anytime an email comes in, it gets redirected to a specific email within your domain. So for example, sometimes if people are mistyping things, like typically the way email works is if I try to send you an email, but I mistype your actual Gmail account, or I mistype your email address, then you're not going to receive the email. But because you're using a custom domain, right, a business domain, any emails that come to @TommyCleaning.com, I can redirect to go into a specific inbox. That way I don't miss any emails that where maybe a customer mistyped, right? Instead of typing support, they might have typed in help @TommyCleaning.com. And I can have all those emails redirected to support @TommyCleaning.com. Okay? See, as you can see, they make it pretty easy. Make sure no one can use sign up for dinner. This is how it works. Basically, they're going to have you, they're going to help me add a DNS record, just back-end stuff. It's not as complicated as it sounds. They'll literally walk you through how to do it step by step. Okay, so I'm ready to protect my domain. They're basically going to break it down here, what I need to do, right? So I can go back to this page. As you can see, what you'll do is you'll log into your Namecheap account, and then you want to hit domains on the left side. There'll be a section that says domains. And then once you see your actual domain that you want to use, you hit manage. And then once you hit this manage, it'll bring up to another screen where you hit advanced DNS. This is that page, the page I was just looking at, right? Advanced DNS is right here. So you click on that, see what it tells us to do next. Go to step 2. You want to add a new record right under where it says host records. So we're looking at this little section right here. So we want to add these two, right? And a TXT record. So I'm going to show you how to do that here. All you do is click add new record. See, I'm under the host records, not further down right here. Make sure you're on the host, under host records. You want to add TXT record, make this a @sign, and then you want to copy this. As you can see, I just click on it and Google automatically lets me copy it. And then I come here and I paste it. That's it. And then you hit save all changes. All right. And then let's see what else they might need us to do here. It looks like it is done. Then it's going to check to make sure that I did it correctly. While it does that, I'm going to make sure that it actually went through. My computer's going a little slow. Yep, perfect. So it's saved. Now, this can take a little bit of time. You might want to maybe, while you're doing this, you can, do whatever else you got to do. Leave this window open while it keeps trying to propagate and get everything loaded. Alrighty, so now as you can see, after it took about, I want to say 1-2 minutes, it is now saying that my domain is protected. Okay, so now I can set up, Gmail and use it as my business inbox and everything. Okay, here you can see it's going to ask you, am I a team of one? Am I a team of many? Right now, I'm just going to do for one. If you want to do for many, of course, it'll walk you through all the steps. Let me know if you guys want me to shoot another video about how to take it even further in terms of adding users and putting users under specific specific domain names. For example, for support, like a support email, maybe you have a support team instead of just one person. If you have just one person, they can use the support at TomyCleaning.com, right? But maybe you have 5 people on your support team. Then you want the support email to just kind of route the emails to each of the different members, okay? And that's something else that can be done too, as you can see down here. So what we're gonna do here is now we're gonna go to the next step to actually create a user. What you wanna do is hit continue. You can see I'm already there. If you wanna add more users, you'll just click down here, add as many users as you'd like. As you can see, you can put their names and then you'll put whatever you want their actual email to be. And then you can have an alias as well. So that means like instead of them sending their email, let's say for example, I had a guy named John on the team, right? John Smith, okay? He can have an email alias, so whenever he's sending out emails, it's not being sent from John, it's being sent from help, right? Or operations, for example. That way, all his emails are going to be coming from operations, okay? So that you can actually do that if you'd like. Now, I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead and won't add any users. Just go with the one I have. Next, you'll do activate Gmail. There you go. We've added everyone. It says it's now the best time to update your email settings. It can take up to 24 hours, right? So what you'll do is just hit yes, I'm ready to activate. We can kind of ignore these because we just created a new domain, so you won't be, more than likely aren't receiving any emails from your current domain. Alrighty, so hopefully you kept your Namecheap open, your Namecheap account open. That way you can go back to it and follow the next steps. Okay, we've already done this. As you can see, I'm still on my Namecheap page here for my domain. So what I'll do is just hit go to next step. Now they'll have me do these steps right here, okay? Which is pretty simple. All you got to do is scroll down. This is where we added that first little record that they wanted us to add, the TXT record. Now we're going to go down to this section here. All you're going to do is choose Gmail under the drop down. As you can see here, it says mail settings, Gmail. And then you're going to hit save changes. Now Namecheap makes it really easy. All you have to do is mark it as Gmail. They're already going to handle all the back end. And now you can go back to Gmail and just make sure it's confirmed. So now just hit activate. Again, this can take a little bit of time, so more than likely you'll want to leave it and come back after a few minutes to make sure that it's been completed. Alrighty, so now it is completed. This one took about 60 seconds for it to propagate and get over to Gmail that everything was set up correctly. Now we're good to go. Now it's saying that it can take up to 48 hours before you start receiving email. But for me, I've seen that I haven't had much issues in regards to that. If you already had a domain and then you were shifting your domain over, it's possible that it could take up to 42 hours or 48 hours, excuse me. But I think that's more of like to cover their ground or cover their behinds. But most of the time, this thing goes pretty fast. So you're gonna hit finish and you're pretty much all set at this point. Okay. Now it's still showing the screen because it thinks I want to add more users, or it's hoping that I add more users. I can go skip for now, and now I can go to their to try out the apps. Now, guys, keep in mind, the great thing about this and why I love it so much is it's literally like if you already have a Gmail account, you're pretty much using it the same way. You can go to gmail.com to log in. You can download the Gmail app on your phone, on your mobile device, to be able to access your business emails. It's literally going to look just like your standard Gmail account, okay? You see a little difference. It says Google Workspace down here as opposed to what you would see on a regular Gmail. That kind of lets you know that you're using your business email instead of the regular one. And here we go, right? You can see that it looks just like your standard Gmail account. You see it looks just like your standard Gmail account. If I hit here to try to compose an email, you can kind of see here how that looks like on this end. It looks literally like a replica. The only difference is probably up here. You can see here the domain that I have. So that's pretty much the gist of it. At this point, you've had your email is perfectly set up. You're good to go. Okay. So again, you're going to be able to access, you can log in from gmail.com. You're going to use the username and the password that you set up at the beginning. And that's going to be pretty much the gist of it, guys. So now that you have your email set up, let's go on to the next step and get the rest of your thing set up.
All right, now that you have your email all set up, you'll want to get your phone number set up next. Now what you can do is click the link below to be able to get a Phone.com phone number. Now, do want to say something. We've partnered with Phone.com, so once you've actually signed up through the link, be sure to reach out to my team by email, which we'll add in the description, so you can get access to our partner support information. Pretty much the way it works is if you have any issues, any type of support issues, we have a priority line that you're going to be able to call into to make sure that they know that you're with us, and they'll make sure to take care of you. So be sure that you check it out down in the description. Now, if you're just starting off, you can choose the $12 a month plan unless you're planning on using more than 300 minutes a month across all your users. Let's jump back into my computer so I can explain that a little bit more.
Alrighty, so here we are at Phone.com. Now remember, you want to click the link in the actual description if you want to have access to priority support when you are using Phone.com, as well as if you want to just support our channel, okay? So be sure that you click the link down below. Once you finish with the entire setup, send us an email. There should be an email in the description as well. That way we can make sure that you're able to get access, and we can email you back those priority support information. It'll be a phone number and an email, I believe. Okay, so what do you want to do first? First, you want to go to sign up. You can scroll down if you want to see kind of more of their features. I'll be shooting a video. It's probably going to be out by the time you watch this about some of the features they have, but the long list of features that are available is all here. So you can scroll through that and check it out if you like. For this tutorial, I'll be jumping straight in. Hit the sign up button on the top right. Once I do that, it's going to bring me to this page. Okay. If you want to pay annually, you can, and it's dope because you pay annually, you save 20%, like you'll typically see with software products. But also, you can actually get volume discounts. So you can click right here, and then it'll give you an idea how much lower you can get it. Okay. So let's say if I have at least 5 users, I'm going to be paying $10 per user. Okay. And then you can hit the bill annually and go even cheaper. All right. So I'm going to switch it to build monthly, right? So you guys can see what that looks like. These are kind of what the price points are looking like. What you can do here is you can choose based off of what your situation is. Now, if you're someone who you're going to be only, you need a phone for, maybe you're going to be making support calls from time to time, or you just needed to, kind of reach out to your customers and update them, then you might be able to get by with the $14 a month plan. Okay, you might be able to get by with this plan. Now, if you're someone who that you're going to be making a lot of phone calls, right? You are actually doing sales calls, right? You're reaching out and you got to close your customer over the phone. I would recommend this. I'd recommend you jump into this plan right here, or potentially even jump into the $29.99 plan. Okay, reason being is you get call recording. Now, what I found when it comes to sales, whether you're doing it yourself or you have employees doing it, the benefit of call recording is after you go through a sales call, you're able to sit down and listen to how the call went, and that can help you improve your sales process, right? And it's critical that you have the call recording because you're not going to remember everything that you talked about on the phone call, or how certain things you said, how the customer how he reacted to certain things that you were saying, right? It's great for working on your rebuttals, just tons of things, right? That's why I typically always go with call recording if I'm going to be doing a lot of sales calls. But other than that, if you're not in that situation, these other two will work, and you can get by with one of these other two plans, even if you are doing sales, especially if you're starting off and you want to run a little bit of a leaner ship. So just for now, I'm going to go ahead and choose this, the basic user plan. So you guys can kind of see how that works. So I click on that. It's going to show you your total at the bottom. So you want to make sure that you only check one. If I go over here and I check like 3 over here, 2 over here, you're going to see the number is going to jump up, right? So you want to make sure that you zero all of these out and you only put one for whichever user you want to use, or however many you need. You make sure that you check exactly for what you need, and then if you want to save 20%, you switch over to build annually. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just try with one user so I can show you guys what that looks like. Okay, so the next screen it's going to bring you to is actually starting to choose your number. Okay, so you'll see that you have a few different options here in terms of what type of number that you can get. If you already have a number somewhere else, that's kind of what it says down here, you can actually port that existing number over. Okay, so you don't want to just cancel your plan at the other, wherever else that you have that phone number. You want to first sign up for Phone.com and hit this transfer button, because it actually takes time to move that number over. And if you cancel your plan over there with your current provider, it's possible that they might just get rid of your number, or release your number for someone else to be able to get. So you want to come here first, hit the transfer button, go through that transfer process before you actually cancel out the account. So If you're not in those situations, you're going to choose one of these three: a toll-free number, like an 800 number, a local number, or, I mean, you see here, a custom number where, like some people will be like 1-800-CARS or something, right? Because I'm selling cars or whatever the case may be. You can do that as well. Okay, so I'm going to do toll-free here. And here are some options that I have. I'm going to choose the free option, hit next. And then this is where you want to type in some information about yourself. Okay, so you go ahead and type in you want to fill in all this information, and then you want to hit the next button. I'll fill out my information and fast forward through here so you don't have to see this boring part. Alrighty, so on the next screen, it's going to ask you to tell them a little bit about your business. So here I would put Tommy's Cleaning Co. I'll put my address here, boom, 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 and then you're going to hit the next button as well. Alrighty, so I'll go ahead and type this stuff in real quick, and then I'll see you at the next page. Alrighty, so here it is. Now it's kind of brought me over to the pricing summary. Now I have to pay tax because of where I'm actually located. So you'll see that it kind of jumped up a little bit in terms of the fees that I have to pay. Yours is more than likely going to be a little less unless you're also in the US. In that case, then it's quite possible that your numbers could jump up a little bit as well. But still, nonetheless, this isn't bad. So what you'll do is you'll hit I agree to the terms, and then you'll hit next, and it'll now take you over to the billing section. So let's go ahead and go through there. Alrighty, so once you go through the whole billing and everything, next it's going to actually start setting up your account. Okay, so you might want to give it a little time. As you can see down here, it can take a couple minutes just for them to propagate everything through their systems. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause it a little bit while we wait for it to load. Alrighty, so this is what it looks like once you've actually set everything up. What you'll want to do is you can hit here to say get started. Now it looks like we're just going to set up some basic things here. What do I want my caller ID name to say? Let me see if I can make it a little longer here. Maybe I'll make it Tommy Cleaning Co. if that'll work. Nope, so it'll just be Tommy's Cleaning. All right, so here you can set up a voicemail. Let's see what it sounds like this.
You have reached the voicemail of Tomy's Cleaning Company. Please leave a message with your name, number, and the reason for your call. Someone from our team will get back to you as soon as possible.
That's okay. That's not bad. Now, if you guys want, throw down in the comments down below if you want me to show you how you can go about getting a professional a voicemail done. I do have some resources to be able to get that done for you guys, so just let me know. Also, it looks like you can also add on some hold music if you like as well. So you can either choose from the list or you can add your own, like upload a file. It's up to you. All that looks good to me. So what I'll do is just hit next. Okay, next it looks like it wants me to set up my business hours. Now this is something that you're not really going to see whenever you're using something like a Google Voice, right? They're not going to allow you to be able to set up, reoccurring business hours. Okay. You at that point, it's cool because it is a different phone number that's still on your phone. But the negative side of it is that you're now available 24/7. People can call that number anytime. They'll call you early in the morning. They'll call you late at night when they get home, thinking that maybe you're still up. Might as well give it a try. So now it's a situation where you just got to turn off your phone and just not accept any calls, right? So instead of having to go through that, what you can do is you can set up, you can use a Phonecom, for example, and be able to set up custom business hours. So now this makes sure that, because I do this, if they're calling outside of these business hours, then my phone's not going to ring, right? It might either send them straight to voicemail. I'm sure that's something that we can set up here. Either send them straight to voicemail, and allow them to leave a message, and then it notify me that someone left a message. Or, there's different ways you can set it up. If I really want to, I can always just keep it open 24/7. That way I can always field those calls. But it's really up to you and how you want to run your business. So we're going to hit next on that. I'm going to go ahead and set it 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, your standard business hours. And next here, I can set up an extension, okay? So it basically says, what do you want your extension to be? I'm going to go ahead and leave it to 100 here, just because, I only have one user. If I want to, I can change this to another number, but this is just fine for me. So I'll hit next. Already, call handling. So this is kind of what I was talking about here a second ago, right? So this is this is pretty much your company's main number, right? Once it goes to that number, you can decide what happens during opening hours. Are they greeted with a message during business hours? So you can say something like this.
Thank you for calling Tomy's Cleaning Company.
Now, to be quite honest, that doesn't sound good at all. If you guys want, again, I can show you guys how to be able to set up recordings for when you have a business phone line. I recommend not using, a text read like that. It sounds okay for voicemail, but it's better to either record a message yourself, or there's resources out there where you can get a professional message done for you. Okay. So again, let me know in the comments if that's something that interests you guys. But so in that case, I will just either gonna leave it off or I'm gonna use a professional version. Okay. So what should happen when a call arrives during business hours? Ring users. That's what I would prefer to have. If you have a big team, you can switch it to using a menu, and then you kind of set up a menu. Type in the options as you can see down here, right? Please listen carefully to the menu options. For sales, press 1. For support, press 2. Right? Kind of what do they call it? I think they call it a phone tree or whatever the case may be. You can kind of set that up here. Okay. So if you want to look bigger, you can set it up that way and then just add yourself down here to each one. You know what I mean? Boom. Like this, right? So whether they call sales, or whether they press 1 for sales or they press 2 for support, boom, 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 it's still going to me, but it kind of makes it look like, oh man, this guy's running a big ship. There's a lot of people there, right? So that's kind of the route that you can take. For me, just for the sake of this example, well, I guess I'll leave it like that for now. Let's see. What should we do if the caller does not enter any menu options? I would probably go with the ring users, right? So it'll just ring me anyways. And in this case, if you have a big team, you can kind of choose which users or group of users. So for example, just send them straight to the support team and let them sort it out, or send them to sales, whatever the case may be. You can choose that down here, or you can do something like just send them to voicemail. They're not choosing an option. Okay. It's kind of up to you how you want to do that. And again, don't worry too much about these details, because you're always going to be able to go back and change all these settings. Okay. So once you do that, you want to hit submit, and there you go. Everything's set up. Now it's brought me to my online portal. This is where I'm going to be able to handle things like, seeing my phone calls, my voicemail messages, text messages, video meetings, whatever the case may be. All of it's going to be here. Okay. So I can hit show me. Here we go. Now, me personally, I don't want to handle any calls from my laptop, though you can do that. The cool thing about this is you can do calls from your laptop. They call it a soft phone. So your laptop, you can do calls from your phone. They have an app that you can download to also take calls, or you can actually have a hard phone. So that means you can actually set it up with them to where calls are going to a physical phone that you have in your office. So you kind of have different options which way you can actually do it or how you want to do it. Okay. Now, me personally, I prefer to do it from the phone. What I'll more than likely be doing is I'm going to be showing you guys how I actually go about taking calls and receiving calls, things like that off of the phone app. I'll be doing a more in-depth dive into Phone.com pretty soon. But at least at this point, your thing has now been set up. So you're good to go in terms of having everything set up for you here. Okay. So you can click around here, just kind of check it out and see what everything looks like, and go from there. So should you need to change anything, you can come down here to the settings and change things when it has to do with your profile or your incoming calls, whatever the case may be. And if you need to go more in depth, right? Think about it as this is inside of your specific phone settings. But if you want to change the actual phone settings of the business, right? You click on configure, it's going to open another tab here. And this is where you're going to be able to go more in depth in terms of the actual settings, that pretty much a lot of the settings that we set up previously, as well as if you want to do things like, adding new phone numbers. As you're growing, you can come here and add any other users that you might need, right? If you need to get more phone numbers, you can do that. You can grab more phone numbers here as well, right? Here, this is what I was talking about in terms of the phones, right? If you need to, you can either reach out to their sales team, or you can just go on the website and see what the settings are required for you to have a physical phone. And then you would just have to call in and have them link that phone, be able to link that phone for you. That way you can, literally pick up phone calls from your office. Okay. So that's really what's the benefit of this. And one of the reasons that made me want to switch over to Phone.com from Grasshopper, it's really that, not only are they cheaper than Grasshopper on their lower scale, so they're actually trying to grow with you, but it's also the fact that I can actually do hard phones when I get to that point. If I'm in a situation where I'm starting to build out an office and I want to have hard phones for any employees that maybe are doing sales or whatever the case may be, I can easily do that without having to change to another phone provider. Okay, so that's the benefit of it there. Alrighty guys, so that's going to be pretty much it for the tutorial with how to set up Phone.com. Let's go ahead and head back over to the video.
All right, so you're all set. By now, you should have your email and your phone system now completely set up. So you're all set to grow your business and kill the game. Not sure if you have all the business essentials for your business besides just the email and the phone? Check out my video on how to set up an LLC and get all the essentials you need to run your business. I'll break down each step by step, then give you my top partners to make sure it's done right. So click here so you can check out that video. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace.